Everybody. Hope you had a great day today. We're from Delhigh Power Squadron. We do vessel safety checks. We teach advanced boating courses and boat safety. One of the things that, as you can see our sign, it says free vessel safety check. And that is something just to make people aware of what they should have and what their safety equipment should be like on their boats. We're not law enforcement. We do not issue tickets. We just try to keep everybody informed. One of the first things that we do is we usually come up with a form. We ask you if you'd mind or like to have a vessel safety check. And Mr. Rendish has already agreed to have one with us. So we'll get started. On the form itself, there's a item checklist and there's a recommendation list and a required list. As far as the starting with the requirements, first item is display of numbers. Now your registration numbers, if you look on your, when you get it from the state, the card itself is going to give you the registration numbers and it's going to tell you how to put it on your boat. This is done correctly. You got your registration, you got your numbers, space in between approximately 3 inches, your other numbers, space in between, and your letters. That's one of the requirements. Along with that, you have to have your registration card, sir. On your registration card, it's also going to give you a HIN number. The HIN number is what is basically the manufacturer of the boat. It's like your VIN number on your car. The HIN number is usually on the back of your boat, somewhere in this area. Next thing is flotation devices. PFDs, life jackets, flotation devices. They must be taken out of the bag. They can be brand spanking new, but they have to be out of the bag. The other thing is, as long as you can read the letters, U.S. Coast Guard approved. They're legal. When you cannot read them anymore, you can use them for your pool or whatever, but they're not legal on the boat. Same with this type. Same thing, it says United States Coast Guard approved. So that takes care of that. The next thing is visual distress signals. Flares have an expiration date on them. Expiration date here is August 2010. They were manufactured in March of 2007. So we're good to go. What we try to tell people is if you have three or four expired flares, keep them in a dry, waterproof place along with your updated ones. You always have spares to work with then. Next is fire extinguishers. Fire extinguisher, on the fire extinguisher itself, it will say United States Coast Guard approved. Small letters, usually on the left-hand side as you look at it, right above the BC or whatever, usually the BC fire extinguisher that you have on your boat. Right now, if you go ahead and take your fire extinguisher, turn it upside down, and beat on it, you'll be able to go ahead and hear or feel the chemical inside float back and forth. On the wall, you should do that probably about once a month. Reason being, over the water and on the road, the boat pounding, it's going to go ahead and block and make this a big cake of powder. That's hard to break up in case you ever did need it. This one, the fire extinguisher, has the gauge on it. It does say full. You can hear the chemical, so we're in good shape. Next, ventilation. If you have an outboard motor, it's ventilated already. Inboard, outboard, I need to go ahead and have you turn on blower. In here, I can go ahead and feel the air coming out. Over here, you can feel the intake. And that's to create a ventilation for inside your motor itself because of gas and fumes. Next thing is sound producing device. Need a horn, air horn. Give me a blast. We know it works. If you happen to have if you have a jet ski and you have a whistle, look inside and see if it's a cork or if it's a plastic ball inside there. If it's a cork ball, what's going to happen is over time it picks up moisture, and when you go to use it, you're going to blow, and all you're going to hear is that fluttered sound. You're not going to hear a loud whistle sound like you should. Next thing is navigational lights. Have to have your bow and your stern lights on a switch, so that as you throw your lights on, the bow lights come on. Okay. You can see, I don't know if you can see it up there or not, but both lights work here. And your anchor light has to also come on at the same time. All right, which it does. Next, the switch has to be also thrown so that your bow light gets turned off, and your stern light is on, or your anchor light is on only. Reason for that is if at night you're anchored, the other boaters, hopefully they had a safe boating course, and they know that you're at anchor. You're not moving, so you're in good shape. Depending on what size boat you have, you should have a pollution placard, a Maripol trash placard, and here again that goes along with if you have a head, if you have a galley, sanitation device placard. You have to have a, excuse me, I'm out of breath. You have to have a trash management plan. Here again, depending on the size boat. Navigation rules. Yep. Right. All right. You have two types: state requirements and federal requirements. These are the federal requirements. State requirements. This one will do. There's another booklet that the state will send you if you request it. They're free of charge. And you should also have that. Depending on where you're going to boat, if you're going to Jersey, if you're going to Maryland, Delaware, I suggest you contact the Recreation Department for each state and have them send you a free booklet. Laws may be just a little bit different in each state. So just something to carry along with you, because if you do happen to get boarded, they're going to ask you for those state requirements. Unless Bob is hiding a galley, which is a kitchen, or a head, which is basically your bathroom, we don't have to check that because we don't have one here. The other thing is the electrical and fuel system. If Bob will open up the cover of his engine here. All right, he did that already. If you open up the engine compartment, one of the things we check for is how clean it is, make sure that there's no gas, any type of oil rags or anything like that laying there, which could create a fire. The other thing is your back flame arrestor needs to be aluminum like this, with the aluminum fins. Doing vessel safety checks, we've found car parts where they are the paper, basically air filter. Again, another place for a hazard for a fire. And that pretty much does it.